What's good? What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of The Urban Platform Speaks. Make sure to like and subscribe as you tune into the channel and check out the content. And with that being said, man, I want to speak on some a recent video that I saw come across Michael Jordan. He was on an Oprah Winfrey show, and Michael Jordan really spoke to he spoke about like giving these new athletes too much too soon. And he says when you do that, when you give athletes too much too soon, what happens is you create a bad work ethic, right? Because people, if you give somebody something, then there's no need for them to really work as hard because they don't have, they're not chasing anything. So there's no incentive for that person to work as hard. And that's when I've been basically saying that, and a lot of older people say that, about like generations, these new generation of people coming in to these professional sports, coming in with big contracts, coming in with tennis shoe deals and stuff like that. You know that you want to, and in order to get the best out of them, you have to allow these kids to prove themselves. Now, with that being said, I also believe in compensating people fairly for what they bring to the table and what they what they're worth and what they can achieve. So I'm going to play this audio from Michael Jordan. He was on the Oprah Winfrey show. Hopefully it got some, it got some music in the background, so hopefully it don't get flagged. But Mike just make a great point. And Mike, in my opinion, he has, even the way Michael Jordan operated as a player, he always had like the owner, like he leaned towards more towards like ownership point of view than the players. Like players would be like, nah, man, let me get paid now. I want my money now. I want my money up front. Whereas though Mike he took the approach that all right, I'm gonna show you what I can do. Now compensate me. And a lot of successful businessmen, that's the way they operate. That's how they grew their empires and their business. They was like, I'm gonna show you, what I can do. And then when we come to the table, then that gives you more leverage too. And when you do it like that, not only do it give you the it give you leverage, it it allows like the people that you're doing business with to be satisfied because they have expectations and they know what you can do, and it's not a crapshoot. So both sides can be more more satisfied with that type situation. Though, so now let me like I said, I'm gonna play what Michael Jordan said, you know, in his own words.
When you get something so easily, you're not gonna win. You look back in our era,
Yeah.
Michael Jordan and Magic Johnson's, Larry Bird, Charles Barkley's, we earned what we got. When the corporate America came to us, we had a game that could validate their admiration
And sponsorship and all that. Yeah.
Now they get that before they play one game. So in essence, you're paying the kid off the potential.
You don't think that's good?
No, because I think it sets a bad work ethic. When you get something so easily, you're not gonna win.
All right, so now that's true, right? And I know people always say, man, you always saying talking about LeBron James, but and that's why I just thought like they crowned LeBron James the king. They call him the chosen one, King James, and all that stuff. All of that, all of those accolades and everything, would have been good is had he worked hard and tried to live up to those expectations that was placed on him. But once they they called him the the chosen one, and they crowned him the king and stuff like that, it was already etched in stone. So he didn't really have to work as hard as like somebody like a Kobe Bryant. Kobe was just fanatical about the sport, and Kobe just worked. Michael Jordan, he just worked. And Mike, just like what Mike said, when you go to meet these executives, And these executives, they see like all of the the effect that you have on the fans. They see how, how they can benefit from marketing you. It just makes sense then for them to want to pay you the money that that you're worth. And he even put like Charles Barkley in there. Like Charles Barkley was a beast, you know, and I remember Charles Barkley had those he had his own signature shoe, the Barkleys. And those shoes, you know what I mean? Like when Charles Barkley was hot, you couldn't keep those shoes on the shelf. But again, that was something that Charles Barkley and Michael Jordan and all of those guys, Patrick Ewing, that was something that they earned. Like they didn't come into, they didn't get those type of opportunities until they put in the work. But nowadays, when you have people who are coming in and getting these type of deals, and then they don't perform up to the expectation because they already got it. They feel like they made it. So they don't have no incentive there to work for anything. And so I think it's even becoming even more prevalent now, especially in the social media era, because you have kids now who think more so about their brand than they do the sport. Whereas though, like I said, in years past, they did it differently. Like somebody like Tom Brady, um, he cared more about football than he did his brand. And then football allowed him to make money because he played the game so hard. He played the game so good. So, if you was an investor and you wanted to bet on Tom Brady, I mean, that's a sure thing. You're not guessing like when you got these young quarterbacks coming out of college and you are an executive at one of these at Nike or Adidas or one of the or Under Armour. You can't hand these kids a boatload of money not knowing if they even going to be in the league, in a couple years. But when it comes to somebody who put that work in on the field, then that's when executives feel more comfortable. And that's when the guys who put that work in is rewarded. And so I think they have it backwards. Like you have to earn the right to be in a position to receive those type of deals. But like I said, I do feel like just like you have to earn the right to be on a team. You have to earn the right to to be in the playoffs. You don't qualify for the playoffs just because you're on a team. You work your way up into these different type of situations. But yeah, I thought Michael Jordan just hit it right on the head when he said that you create a bad work ethic. And a lot of executives, like you don't see kids getting those big shoe deals right out of college like they used to. As soon as you come to the NBA or or you start playing football, everybody want to be on Team Jordan and stuff like that. It's not happening like that no more. They're backing off of that because you have too many situations where you're giving money to kids and they're not living up to those expectations, and then you lose money. And I think especially now in today's NBA, like if you want a shoe deal in today's NBA, um, you really gonna have to uh to show up and show out because now in the NBA, like ratings are down, attendance are down. So they not Nike, Under Armour, Adidas, they not really looking to hand out a whole lot of money, especially now when ratings are down. They're not really making no money. So it's not good, until a player comes along and puts in that work and earns that type of respect from these executives and earns that money that players in the past have demanded because they put in that work. Until somebody come along, then you know I think they're going to probably hold off on giving those big paychecks to people. Like right now, you see like Anthony Edwards, Ant-Man. He has a pretty good he has some sponsor deals, some big sponsor deals. Then you Shea Shea Alexander. You know, he has some big sponsors deal. But again, these kids put in that work. And I think that as their careers grow, those sponsorships will grow because there'll be a demand, like the fans, there'll be a demand from the fans to see these guys more. And then when that, you know, the numbers will go up and then, you know, they'll get paid. And so that's what I thought Michael Jordan made a good point. And so, you know, that's my take on it. Make sure to like and subscribe. Also, don't forget to leave a comment, and I will check you all out in the next video.